And as always, the internet's favorite judge, Josh Lee, presiding on another edition of Horror or Not. Court is in session.
Hey, welcome to this episode of Horror or Not with Josh Lee. This week we'll be talking about two films that have science fiction themes. And so a lot of times they are argued among fans of whether or not they are horror as well. And I am speaking of 1978's Invasion of the Body Snatchers and 1979's Alien. So, Josh, take it away.
Okay, so I don't think so. Okay, the deal first off with Alien is that I believe, like, over the course of history, I've heard about 10 or 15 different genres that it is. Everything, you could say that it's science fiction, which, yeah, okay. But, I've heard dumbass shit like it's like a gothic fantasy or some such bullshit. I guess for me with Alien is, what's the fucking tagline of the film? It's in space, no one can hear you scream. Okay, so if you had no clue what Alien was and you just got that tagline and somebody said this is what this film is, does that sound like a science fiction film? No, it doesn't. Does it sound like a gothic fucking fantasy film? No, it doesn't. Sounds like a horror film to me. And when you dissect the plot, you don't even need to dissect the plot. What happens in Alien? There's a crew of these like very well thought out characters that are essentially trapped on a ship in space with a monster, right? It's an alien, yeah, but it's just going through and fucking picking them off one by one. It's a fucking horror movie, okay? With Body Snatchers, I think you might have a better kind of argument or questioning whether it is or not. I think the thing with the Philip Kaufman, or he's the director of 78, right? Yeah.
Yep.
That's what I thought. So when you with that one, I think that movie almost goes like the classy route, in that, even comparing it with Alien, it's just there's a lot more classiness involved with it. They also go into like what I would think is purposeful science fiction, like even dialogue, but at the same time, these aliens that are invading Earth, what are they doing in Invasion of the Body Snatchers, right? They're imitating humans, and they're the alien life force, if you will. It's very antagonistic, right? It's an asshole, and the characters who are being I guess, I don't even know what you would say, taken over or imitated. They essentially turn into what I think is pretty archetypal horror villain characters. And again, like I said, with this one, I think maybe you have a little better argument that it's not a horror film. And when you look at, say, like Abel Ferrara's adaptation, Abel Ferrara made his 100% balls out horror, no questions asked, right? He changed the story, which doesn't really matter because the concept is the same. And with the Ferrara adaptation, it is without a doubt a horror film. This one, like I said, it's a little more classy, and it almost seems like, you know, I'm just speculating, but it almost seems as if they were aiming to make a science fiction film. And I will go ahead and just say that the 78 Body Snatchers is a science fiction horror film. So we'll give it, it is a horror film, but it also is a science fiction film. And I think it's mainly because it really tries to be. So it succeeds, but it also succeeds in being a horror film.
And there you have it. They are both horror films to some extent. So if you want to, at any point, come back and debate Josh, feel free to send us a message and we'll bring you on and you can chat about it. But as of right now, the verdict is in.
Bloodhound Pix podcast is part of the Morbidly Beautiful Podcast Network. Produced by Josh Lee, Craig Draheim, and Kyle Hintz. Music by Raymond Seed. Editing by Kyle Hintz.